Awesome. So I'm not sure if Graham is going to be joining us. Probably. I'm sure he'll be here any minute. So he'll be popping on. Him and I are tag teaming on your project.
Yeah, which is cool.
It is super cool because we actually haven't done a project together. So we're both actually really excited to work together. And yeah, so we've already done a lot of collaboration in terms of getting your base map ready and doing the climate and geography research.
Yeah.
And so today's call is going to be more about, an interview type process about your vision and why you're coming to us to do what you're doing, and just to learn more about you, especially like the themes that really drive what you're doing, right? And just so that we can tap into how to make your demonstration site reflective of you. Hello, Graham.
Hello. Hey, Tag.
How are you?
Good. Yourself?
Oh, dude, life is so good. Life is just so good. I just cannot complain.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear somebody else is excited with life. I've got a beautiful sunny day outside right now, and it's like, life could be better.
Yeah, people ask me that question all the time, how I stay positive. I'm like, dude, I've got a hot wife. I got great kids. I own everything that I have. I'm a slave to no man. I have nothing to complain about, like literally.
That is so cool.
If I start complaining, you guys just kick me or something, because I have nothing to complain about. Nothing.
Yeah, likewise, eh?
Right?
Complaining is a lack of gratitude.
Yeah. Great.
Awesome.
Absolutely great.
All right. Well, I think we'll just jump right into it. You've got a number of questions to go through, and then at some portion of the call, we'll jump into the base map and just take a look at that, and we'll go from there.
Rock on.
Yeah. So we'd like to start with talking about your overall vision and your goals.
Yeah. I want to give you guys, if it's okay with you, a quick 3-minute version of how I got where I am, because I think it matters so much to me, and it's the building block of everything I do. And so I just want you guys to know the story. So for 23 years of my life, I ran financial holding companies. And so we had a bunch of them, but long story short, we did about 150 million in annual revenue. I had 900 employees, and I had businesses in 32 states. That's the size it was. And the CEO came to me one day in 2020, and he said, hey, Rowdy, I think it's prudent that we mandate the vaccine for all the employees. Well, that was easy for him to say because he didn't lead them, I did. And so he asked me to get up on stage. We have a huge building, and there was about 400 people there, but he asked me to get up and do it. And I just struggled with it, but it's so crazy because it really had nothing to do with the vaccine. It had to do, for me, was how dare an employer take any kind of ownership over someone's sovereign soul? Like, I just don't, it's just not me, you know? And it was hard though, because I made a lot of money and life was really good, and, and all those things. And so that day came, and, it's funny how corporate world works, but, his job was to set me up. And so he got up on stage and he talked about one team, one mission, taking one for the team, blah, 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 blah. Then he introduced me. I got up on stage and told him that we weren't going to vaccinate anybody, and what they did with their bodies up to them. And he said, you can no longer maintain your leadership role with this company. And my career of 23 years ended that day. And I drove home, and just like, now, what the fuck do I do now? Like, I don't even know what to do. And so me and my wife just, got filled with this, this feeling of putting our lives in a position where people couldn't take from us anymore. And so I paid cash for everything, took all my money out of the market. I live 100% off grid, and I live in a beautiful 5,000 square foot home that me and my wife built, and so I've just kind of made it my journey now to challenge all of those chains that hold me. So I entered the whole grow your own food, not from the purpose of I want to be healthier, although that's 100% true. And if my wife was sitting here, she would tell you that would be her major motivator. But I entered it into I don't want to have to ask permission anymore. I just want to do for myself. And so me and my wife just been at it ever since, and, living a good life. And I've opened a bunch of businesses since then, and they're all successful, and I don't have to answer to nobody. And I spend 5 or 6 days a week on my farm, and my wife's here 100% of the time. But for us, I think that it's the next step. So how do we go from what I call from homesteading to freesteading? I want to make that jump. And not really sure what it looks like. I'm going to be a little bit in the dark. Like, but anyway, that's the end of that story. So that's really what drives me to build the community. We went from a couple of us talking about this. Now I've got, homesteads all around me that amass 1,200 acres of land. We have 900 members across the state of Northeast Kansas. And so I have my own built-in install crews and all kinds of cool stuff. We've built other homesteaders' houses and barns, but we've never built a food forest. We've never tried to build an academy. And I did that because I knew I would never be able to do it all alone. And so now I live around freedom-loving people who just want to be left alone and love the way they want to love. And that's it. It's nothing more than that, And then it really changed a lot because somebody heard about my story, and then I got invited to go speak somewhere. And the next thing you know, a few years later, I did 12 last year, speaking engagements somewhere. Jim's was one. And I don't really know what else to tell you. That's kind of what drives me,
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're coming at this from a very well-rounded perspective already, which is really interesting for us as designers, is to meet somebody that's so far along, on this process that we're working with. You're already, leaps and bounds ahead of the game in terms of, you've already got the community around you. You're already doing these things. It's just this one little piece. So I'm super excited and honored to be part of it. And this is great. So you do have social media already going, right? Your homesteading. Can you let me know what your handles are?
Yeah. So on YouTube, I'm Life Done Free. And that came out of that meeting where I lost my career, because there was a statement my wife had said to me after that is, let's just go live that life done free. And that was that's why I named the channel. I named the channel because my wife's brilliant and beautiful and all those great things. So I've got that. I'm also on Facebook at Life Done Free. But I also own a social media platform, a whole platform called Freesteading. And for me, it was, okay, homesteading's not enough. I need to break all of the change. I need to be matrix free. So we started Freesteading, and to allow people to yoke up and build community. And you know what? It's worked so well. We've helped communities be built in Michigan, which I love. Right. I mean, we've helped people build in Florida and Georgia. And I get calls all the time about, hey, I met 2 more people, and, this weekend we're going to put up some apples. Like, winning, and so it's a free site. I don't charge anything for it. I eat the bill every month myself, 100%. I don't have advertisements on there other than my own companies. And if I could come up with another idea next week, I would.
So what's the website for that?
Freesteading.com.
Freesteading.com.
Yep.
So I could join and learn about all of the community that is established here in my home state of Michigan.
Yeah. So what you'd want to do, I'll tell you who you can look up. Have you ever heard of the Anyone Can Farm experience?
I have not.
Okay. So this guy's super, super cool too. And he was a military guy, spent a lot of years there, built himself a little homestead, got sued or kind of attacked by the FDA over selling raw milk.
Okay.
And he got mad one day and he said, all right, let's fight. You want to fight? I'm going to fight. So he took out a home mortgage on his debt-free property, got an attorney, and sued him and won.
Oh, wow.
And so now he actually trolls them. I love the guy. He's like such a badass. He trolls them and sends them emails like, did you still know Mark Baker is selling raw milk? Like, he's mean to them. But they have a great community up there. I spoke there last year too. At the Anyone Can Farm experience. But yeah, you can get on Freesteading, and there's a state page for every single state.
Okay.
And you can get into Michigan, and there'll be all kinds of people talking about all kinds of things.
Awesome. I'm going to join.
Yeah, cool.
Just like
so that. No Instagram, you just got YouTube and Facebook?
YouTube, Facebook, and Freesteading is all I do.
Okay. Right on. I love how you said people yoke up.
Yes.
Right?
It's big words. Yes.
That's great. So these communities, they're all online. The Michigan, Florida, Georgia, these are all the online through the platform. But you said
they're part of the platform. Like when you get in there, you'll see David the Good's in there. You'll see that Danny and Wanda's in there. You'll see that Rain Country. I don't know if you know that YouTube channel. That's a pretty good YouTube channel. They're all in there as community leaders in there just because I know them all. But typically what happens is, they'll meet 2 or 3 people and they'll start that process of how do I build community? And I'm pretty good at it by now. I've been at it a while. and we'll help them. And then we just keep trying to build. And, there's a lady in Canada. I call her Terminator because this chick lives off grid in Canada without running water.
Where is she?
She's a badass. Yeah. She's tougher than I'll ever be. But anyway, we call her Terminator. And when I first met her on freesteading, she said, there's nobody in Canada. No, can't meet nobody. Now she's got this huge community around her, and they're winning every single day. All that she needed was some encouragement. That's all she needed.
Amazing. I know, without getting into a full-on interview with you about what you do, that's what I'm really curious about. Like, where do you even start with that sort of thing?
Oh, it's such an interesting thing. And I tell people this all the time. I've spoke on building community in many places. And I always tell them the first step is you got to be committed and intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Building community is part of my daily chores. It's not something I do sometimes. It has to be an intentional thing you do every single day. And sometimes it's something so simple as I'm helping Jess and Joe next to me put up some hay or haul some solar panels, which is things we just did.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have a really good community member. I'm at a Tractor Supply because they were loading chicken feed in their trunk. And I just walked out and said, can I help you? On the third bag, I said, hey, the world's an interesting place. We've been buds ever since.
Cool.
That's great. Reach out and talk to people, right?
Yeah, it's just being intentional. And I don't know, it's easy.
Amazing. So apologies in advance if I ask questions that maybe Graham already has the answers to, because he's already spent some time with you and looked at your property in a deeper way. So how many acres is your entire property on your property? 40
acres. Yep.
And then do you have a budget for the project, for the installation? I know you're getting a lot of community help.
Yeah, I'm getting community help, not for the reasons you would think. And you guys will learn this about me. My motivations are very different than anybody else probably that will ever put in an academy. Because I really don't care about making money. I know that sounds weird, but I just don't.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I'm fine that way. And so budget, whatever it takes. I mean, I don't know.
And that's where the abundance comes from, right? Is having that mindset and not having that end goal. That's really opened up the world for you.
Well, I guess following on from your statement, Tag, about not needing the money, which you did share with me the first time, you don't need your Freedom Farm Academy to produce any income either, correct? It's more about demonstration. Yeah,
well, for me, it's and I've taught people this in school a lot over my life about how to build companies.
Yep.
To me, I just don't, if it produces income, that's fine.
Okay.
But I'm not going to chase the income. I'm going to chase the cause. Because if you do that, you don't have to worry about the money. Money fixes itself. This is true in every business I've ever built. I never cared about the individual dollar. I cared about my mission. And so I'll be way more driven that way. If I can serve my community, will be a huge priority to me. Huge priority. If they can get something out of this and they can go back to their homesteads and they can become a tiny bit freer because I spent, $100,000 dumping a bunch of plants on my land, then so be it. Right.
So do you plan to meet most of your dietary needs on site?
Yeah, I'd like to. I don't know how, and this is something I thought a lot about, is actually reaching 100% freedom, which I no longer think is possible, but I think we can get close. So as much of it as I can, I would, but we're doing a lot of that now. And I can show you guys pictures of our gardens. I brought them up prior to this interview talking today. So I can show you pictures of the gardens. I can show you that, but we have cows and we have turkeys and we have chickens, we have geese, we have guineas, big gardens. My wife's a super gardener. So we have a lot of that now. My wife makes all of our cheese, our bread, our soaps, our lotions, salsa, spaghetti sauce. I built her processing kitchen in her own separate building. So she thinks I did it because I love her, even though I really do. But I actually did it because I was tired of her rendering lard in the kitchen. It stinks.
It's the best. That's the best.
So I just built her whole own building. She's got all stainless steel processing everything. She can do it all outside the house where I got to smell it.
And what's your wife's name?
Her name is B.
That's where the tag and B
comes in. Yeah, and her name is Bethany, but we call her B because she's a beekeeper and she loves her bees. So she talks to them when they fly by. She says, "Thanks for visiting." She's really weird.
She sounds lovely.
Sounds like she's normal.
She would be here tonight with me, but her and my 8-year-old daughter have influenza and they're in bed.
Okay.
So another reason why recording it's so cool, because then she can watch it.
Yeah. So I'll probably get you to wrap up the numbers of your livestock in an email after this. We don't have to go through it, but I'll take down some notes. pictures of the garden, cues
Yeah.
like that for things for you to send after the call. Cool.
Yeah.
And how many people are living on site for you to support?
Me, my wife, and my 8-year-old daughter.
What's your daughter's name?
Her name, well, her given birth name is Rowdy.
Oh, that's right. You just said that on Monday.
We call her Ayla or the Pink Tornado, but her name is Rowdy.
She have pink hair like me?
No, but she spins as fast. That girl.
And then do you have anybody, like any farm hands or anything like that? Any hired help on?
Yeah, so I call them the landscapers. They're not landscapers, but I have 3 Hispanic guys who come up sometimes whenever I need them. They're not full-time or anything like that, but they come out 2 or 3 days a week and help me.
Awesome.
And man, are they good with a machete. They don't speak English very good, so I have a hard time communicating with them. But I watch them out in the field, and they clearly have spent a lot of time doing that.
Awesome.
No speak Spanish? No hablo español?
Poquito.
Poquito.
Poquito, solamente, por favor.
How about your diet? What types of things do you like to eat?
Oh, goodness. Great question. So we cook in the winter months. We cook 100% of our food on a wood stove. My wife has a Kitchen Queen Grand Comfort 750, which is a big old badass modern wood cook stove with an oven, and all that stuff in it. And so she makes pretty much everything. So, I mean, I eat lasagna and spaghetti and steak and meatloaf and, whatever she wants to bless me with that day. She's a very heavy plant eater. So she drinks nothing but water. Her plate is always 90% plants with a little bit of meat. I'm probably the opposite. I want chocolate milk and a big steak.
Does anybody have any allergies to anything?
Nope.
Is there any additional livestock you'd like to add that you currently don't have?
Yeah. So this is an interesting question. So our journey is growing on this. Okay. So it's been a journey. And I'll give you some examples. So at first we grew just a barnyard mix of chickens, right? We've had them for a long, long time. My wife gets several dozen eggs a day, right? Life's good. But as time wears on, I've begun to get rid of those chickens and replace them with the speckled Sussex chicken. And the reason I did that is because in my research, they're the best foragers of all the dual purpose breeds. It's big to me to not be dependent on the system. So I want birds who need my help some, but not a lot, right? And same with my turkeys. So we raised Narragansett turkeys because of all of the breeds that I read of the heritage breeds. They're the best foragers and also the best moms.
Sorry, I didn't catch the name of that breed.
Narragansett.
Narragansett.
Yep. And so those are the 2 breeds, we raised there. Cattle, we raised Dexters. Just because they're a little bit smaller and I don't want anything bigger than me on the farm. So I want to be able to manhandle it.
It's very common for folks to use the Dexter for that reason.
Yeah. Once in a while I'll have an Angus out there just because we're going to eat him in a year or 2. But, I believe in the prepping model of I'm storing my energy in the tree, my food on the hoof, and my plants in the seed. Right. Yeah.
How about mycology?
I don't know. Okay, so we can walk around and there's mushrooms all over the place, right? I actually have friends of mine who come hunt morels on my land because they grow all over. But I have to be 100% direct. I don't know nothing about it. Nothing. Except I can recognize that's a morel.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's it. My land actually has a lot of really cool stuff on it. I talked about that in the paper a little bit, but I mean, I'll bet you there's 5,000 gooseberry plants on my land and raspberry plants and blackberry plants and grapes.
All right.
The grapes drive me crazy because they wind all the way up in the trees. The birds get them all. I never get nothing. They're everywhere.
So would it be true to say then, Tag, that you're really looking for more larger fruits like apples, pears, peaches, plums, nectarines, cherries, that kind of stuff?
Oh, all of those sound so yummy. My wife's a baking machine, so anything we can put in a pie or a dessert, you won't have to talk me into it all.
Yeah, and that's what we've done with our excess every year. I mean, we've reached the point of self-sufficiency for apples and peaches the last 2 years with my trees maturing, and now it's all baked goods that go in the freezer for eating through winter. So,
yeah, we struggled with fruit trees. We've planted probably 100, and I probably have 30 that are alive.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's just because of my soil. You know, and I can show you guys if you want where on my land has the best soil and what doesn't. Right? Because I've been all over it. But it seems like there's a lot of places, and it probably goes back to the Dust Bowl, right, at 29 and 30 and back in, that time. But you just get a little bit of topsoil. And then as you start digging, it is pot quality making clay. I mean, you want to have a ceramic shop, my land, you'd be in heaven. Now, it's great for building ponds.
Yeah.
I can hold water with no effort, but it's not the greatest for growing. And so we've tried a lot of different methods of digging a big hole and then taking the clay out and mixing it with some good compost and putting it all back in. And they just seem to struggle where I've planted them. Now I haven't tried them everywhere, but so.
Okay, how about feature gardens? So there's like medicine garden, tea garden, smoothie garden, salad bar.
Yeah.
Like, yes, give it to me.
My wife is very big on medicinal stuff, and she grows so much every year. I mean, she drives me crazy. She'll flag a wild comfrey plant out there, and then I got to mow around it. Drives me nuts. Just stuff like that. But
I like her already.
yeah. Oh, she's a great lady, and she's passionate about it. So medicinal certainly would be great. We're not big tea drinkers, but I think there's a bigger point to all of this, which is how do we best serve our community?
Yep.
I mean, that's really a huge goal of mine is and how do we teach them to be freer? And so if it includes those things, I don't think that's a bad thing at all,
Yeah, I think that's very important, with the medicinals from a community aspect. My healthcare journey from a natural perspective started with the birth of our first son. And, it's been a 30-year journey since then.
Yeah.
And so now I feel comfortable with, sort of self-diagnosis and self-administration of herbal remedies and tinctures and stuff like that. Yep. And that's really, I think, the part that I would emphasize is that when you've got that medicinal garden built, then you can teach others.
Graham, this morning, I was having my wife drink her own elderberry syrup that she made last year.
Yeah. Yep. Position heal thyself, right?
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. So you said you're on your property most of the time. So how much time can you commit to maintaining the property?
Yeah, I love this question, by the way. And so I view this question differently probably than a lot of people, but I think everything you do in an effort to be free comes down to one very important element, which is energy capital. Only so much of it. You can make more money, but my gas tank of my life is fixed. Yeah. So I have to decide what percentage of my gas I want to donate to any given project. Yeah, because it's limited. And so I love the idea of low maintenance. I love the idea of, how do we create? Me and my wife have already done some of this. So we're the master of the 15-minute chores. We take care of all of our animals in 15 minutes because I've automated the water systems. I've automated the feed systems. I try to make it to where she don't have to carry anything very far. It all does it for her, And so I love the idea of low maintenance, but again, we're full-time here, I'm here at least 5 days a week and she's here 7 days a week. So I don't really know how to answer it other than energy management. Energy capital is more valuable than anything else in the world.
Yep. Period. Understood.
So it's the longest time you'd be away from the property?
A week. Yeah, because it would be typically, we created a life we don't want a vacation from. This is our vacation. My wife, actually, if you guys, and you don't know this because of my YouTube channel, but I'm always on my YouTube channel accusing her of being on vacation. It's a very normal thing. I'll get a roofing barn and I'll sneak up on her and be like, I'm busted, you're on vacation. But the truth is, it's the exact life she asked me for. This is why she's on vacation.
Yeah.
It's important. It's reinforcing all of those things, and she loves it. She hackles me back and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so we don't really go anywhere other than maybe I would have a speaking event or, something like that. Or if she wants to go to Homesteaders of America or something maybe, but it really wouldn't be beyond that.
And
so
you've got people, sorry, go ahead, Lindsay.
No, mine's the next topic, so go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have people to take care of the animals while you're away?
Oh, yeah. Okay. But I have got freedom-loving homesteaders all around
all over. Yep.
All over. And when they go on places, I have a neighbor right across the street that's got 80 acres, and he went to Oregon or something for a week, and we fed all of his animals, and he's got like 1,000 animals. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no thanks. It was a 2.5-hour process, morning and then night.
Mm-hmm. Is he straight to the east of you with all the round bales that I see on his property?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I'm like, man, you do this wrong. My chores, tops. Morning, 15 minutes, night, 15 minutes. We're done.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like a meditation then.
Right.
So skills, talking about skills, do you have all the skills that you want, or is there something that you'd like to learn?
Oh, goodness. I don't think you ever stop learning. That would be the silliest thing ever. Right? Then you're dying, kind of.
Yeah.
I am a very handy guy. I can pretty much build anything. I have equipment to do it with, so all that stuff. But, I've always looked forward to getting to a place on my homestead where I could begin to play with the other things, wood gasifiers and biogas generators and, making all this cool stuff that I don't know anything about today. But I didn't know anything about solar until I installed it. And I didn't know anything about, moving water. I have 3 water sources in my house. I didn't know anything about it until I did it. So I'm not scared to do it. I just don't know anything about it.
So you're willing to learn anything that is required to learn as it comes. That's wonderful. You're going to stay young forever.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Awesome. Okay, we've got that. Are you interested in taking a PDC? A
100%.
permaculture design certification? Yes.
100%. Yeah, and I would actually have some questions on that whole thing. I don't know what your guys' course is, but how available is it? And what I mean by that is, when we go do all of this, I'm going to get a bunch of my community involved. I would love to sit down in the community building and go through some of it with them and go like, here, this is what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to do it. And, I think this would be super valuable from their perspective. There's some of them who know some about it and some who know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We have engineers who, if you want to know how far concrete can span, we're your team. We have, attorneys and doctors. I have a full-blown doctor who has their own clinic, all kinds of things. But so we'll get the skills together, but I would love to learn how available that course is from that.
When you say how available, like, once you've completed it,
yeah,
talking about the materials and stuff that you could then use for teaching others.
That I could share with them, and not so much me being a teacher as helping them get those skills, because we walk this life together. We've chose to walk this life together, and none of them have the resources I do. So, it wouldn't be like none of them would pay the amount of money it would take to put an academy in. I'll promise you that. But I think having them learn along the way would be just amazing. It was just a couple of them,
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I want to take it, whatever that is.
Okay. Well, Lindsay, you obviously could comment on the Verge one, right, about what materials you can take with you out of the course, and I can comment on Jeff Lawton's as well if it's appropriate to do that now or later. We can work that out.
Yeah, we can get into the details of the PDC later. I'm still waiting to hear back from Verge because they're doing a hybrid program this year. So I'm asking them, okay, well, what about the people that can't attend your live content? So
right.
Yeah, and we're looking actually into multiple education providers so that we can have more than one provider. Currently, we just have the one. So I'd like to be able to offer a little bit more flexibility in terms of people's climate and where they're from, and also giving them choice because the curriculums are different.
I like that too, because me being able to just take 6 days or whatever, however long it take me to get through it, or 6 weeks in a row, good luck. I mean, I've got a farm to run,
Yeah, it's 72 hours, usually around that.
Okay, yeah.
For a PDC.
But I could do 3 hours this night and 3 hours next night and 3 hours. I could do that easy.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And then would you be interested in designing after that?
I don't know. Depends on if I felt it, right?
How
it's like music.
happy are you?
Decent.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you can teach right away after having a PDC. It's really highly encouraged. It's like, that's what needs to happen. The knowledge needs to spread like wildfire.
Yes, 100%, which is why I'm glad you're recording, because I'm going to take, I don't have a huge channel. There's only 7,000 subscribers on there, but I have an incredibly loyal channel. And I would love to take them through the steps and help spread that freedom and help say, hey, you can do it. And all you got to do is just be intentional. Just take a step. That's all you got to do. Just one step.
Yeah. Yeah, one person makes a huge difference.
Huge difference. Yeah.
You're living proof, right?
Living proof. Yeah. I live it every single day. And I get emails every day about how do I do this and help me. And, I can't believe I'm in the rat race. I have no idea how to get out. I'm like, well, if as long as Starbucks is more important than growing a tomato, you'll never get out.
Worse.
Okay, so we've got the wife's kitchen, stainless kitchen, lovely, and she does canning in there. Do you have a dehydrator? Do you have dehydrators?
Oh yeah.
Cooler.
Yeah, we have everything but a freeze dryer, and I don't have a freeze dryer because I'm off grid, and so the amount of power those things take for a long period of time. If I could run them during the day and then just shut them off and start it the next day, I would get one. But I can't run the unlimited cycle. It's just too much power. So that's why we don't do that. But I will tell you, this is important for you to know, Lindsay and Graham, that the community building we're building right now will also have a large stainless steel kitchen in it.
Okay.
So it's already plumbed. It's already ready to go. And so it will be able to prepare a bunch of food down there in that building as well.
How about a smoker? Are a smoker in there too?
I love one. I don't know anything about smoking meat, but I love eating it.
Do you have
a really good way to increase the value of the chickens, right?
Yes.
It's a really good way to increase the value of anything coming out of there, any cheese, any meats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We butcher all our own meat now. We just don't smoke it. Mm-hmm. But
do you have a solar food dryer?
Actually, I do.
Okay.
Well, kind of. So my wife showed me a picture. This was about a year ago. It said, I want one of these. And it was a small, like 3 foot by 4 foot kind of thing with a long ramp, for a solar dehydrator.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not building you that, but I'll build you my version of that. So I went and bought a gigantic 3 foot by 8 foot by 4 foot locker that I found and converted it into the biggest solar dehydrator I've ever seen on the internet. I've never seen a bigger one. That's just the way I do things.
That was how I took care of my excess tomatoes every year. Was I just solar dried them. Real quick funny story is that the first time I put it in place, I was at work, came home, checked them each day for 3 days, and then the last day that I came home, they were like gone.
Birds.
Well, I asked my wife. I said, "Have you been watching the dryer?" And I said, "Everything's gone." She said, "Yeah, a couple of little birds ate them." It's like my oldest son and my oldest daughter got in there. And gosh,
really, Randy, right?
Yeah.
They get so sweet. That happened with my tobacco the first time I tried to cure it in a greenhouse. Birds actually got into the greenhouse and just destroyed everything. Just shreds everywhere.
What kind of tobacco do you grow?
Well, right now I have 5 different varieties of seed. So I've got like a pink trumpet flower one, and then there's, this yellow one, and everyone has a different story, and everybody says, oh, this is from a pouch from, ancient times. And so it's like, and then there's Ted's tobacco, right? Like they've got all these names, but it's really 2 varieties, and I use it more for biomass.
Yeah.
I really just chop and drop it, and the bees love it. And to smoke it, it's quite strong. Like you have to get it right at the perfect time, because I'm in a desert like scenario, right? So the leaf just goes from wet to dry and so fast. So getting it, without a humidor or whatnot to slowly to dry them out, it gets pretty harsh.
We grow the seeds for the white calf buffalo woman tobacco for the Buffalo Seed Company.
Amazing.
Wife grows that every year. We've never smoked it. They take the seeds and that's the end of that. But
wow. I was just talking about white buffalo woman with my elder.
I
forgot to give them the tobacco seeds that I brought with me. They're still my purse. I was like, oh, shoot. Anyways. Okay, I'm going to move over to the live map and share that.
I just joined Freesteading.
Cool.
I'm on it and looking for the local community.
Yeah, so you're looking for the groups. And then you want to find the state group, the state pages, and then find your state.
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, look at all this cool stuff.
Yeah. So this is thanks to Graham, and it equipped me with all of this. And there's even more coming. We do quite a lot of research in terms of like looking at the site from an aerial perspective. And of course, we're remote. I'm in Calgary, Alberta, right? So we do a lot of research online before coming on site. But of course, we're going to be doing a site visit with the Freedom Farm Academy. We always have that too. But this kind of just gets our bearings straight on, you know, your land and your climate. And I saw that you sent us this picture. Did you want to talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, so I just wanted to draw in. So this picture is a little bit old. This was last year's satellite picture. And so I've built a lot since then. Like Pond 2 is brand new. I just built it. So I created a road across to get to the community building so people weren't driving down my driveway at my house to get to the community building.
Yeah.
So I just built Pond 2. I didn't know how much you guys wanted to know, so I just kind of tried to label it. Where you see where it says orchard, there's a lot of swells in there, and the number of swells that are there today are 3 times what you see in this picture.
Okay.
Because we just keep building them. I think the other thing that I would tell you guys about, I'm not really married to let's do it here or do it there. I'm okay with, you know, that we do 3 1-acre ones, or I'm okay with spreading it around, or I'm okay with putting it all together. You know, I kind of looking on for you guys to guide me through that, but I'm not really married to anything. But I will tell you this. The dirt, so if you see Pond 1, 2, and 4, there's creek beds in there, and they all run together.
Yeah.
Everything to the right of that creek bed is the best soil on my land. Everything to the left is the worst. So the prairie, like where the community building is, that's, you know, 8 inches of topsoil. But you get on the other side of the creek bed, like where the bees are and some of those places, there's places over there that got 3 feet of topsoil.
Ooh, nice.
So I just want you guys to know that. The other thing is where you see the word orchard, that's the highest, about the highest piece of land on my property. Everything falls away from it.
Yeah, that's what I've seen on the contours. Yep.
Yeah, it's about up there somewhere.
Yep.
So, but again, I'm not 100% set on anything other than how do we best help people, you know, go out there and live free. And whatever that means, I'm pretty much okay with donating whatever land I need to donate. I'm pretty much okay with, you know, the bare spots that you see, we cut hay, and that's how I feed my cows in the winter.
Okay.
But the cuttings that come off my land never leave my land. They're eaten and then they're shit out on some pasture somewhere. That's just how it works. Watch, rinse, repeat.
So, you know, obviously wide open space is easiest to design, you know, so are you okay with sacrificing some of your hayfield for orchards? Okay.
Yeah. 100%. The other thing I really want to point out to you guys is the red box in the middle is the community center, which is already being built. So it's not moving. Okay. That's staying right where it's at. Where I put stage at, so the place between the community building and the stage is where everyone will gather. And you guys need to know this. This is super important. So we do 2 festivals every year called the Midwest Preparedness Project. The one coming up here in May will be our 22nd one.
Oh, wow.
So typically we go to a lake, we go rent a place, right, to go do it. But this is the future home of that event. That event in May will have 500 people there. And so that will be the biggest it is, but monthly, very regular, do we get together as a community and do things. And so it will have people here. And there are, guys, I'm telling you, every ethnic background, every age, lots of kids, lots of old people, lots of people in the middle, young people, even, you know, down into their 20s. But it will absolutely get used. And so I'm kind of trying to save my space between the community building and the stage because there's going to be a lot of people and you don't want them trampling over things. Now, that doesn't stop us from putting a water feature or some, you know, herb garden, or I'm just making this stuff up, right? A sundial or some of the examples you guys used or whatever. I'm 100% okay with all that. The other thing is in Pond 1, there's a big island.
On the right-hand side of it, on the east side?
Yep, on the right-hand side, kind of towards the bottom.
Yep.
Yep, you can see it kind of sticking out. That's actually an island, and the distance between the land and that island is about 12 feet on that one side. But, you know, I would not mind at all to put something to look at, you know, out there on that island. Right now, the birds are the only things that use it. You know, the ducks and the geese come in, lay their eggs, they hatch, they raise them, and then they're gone until the next batch decides they want to come in, you know.
Have you got a bridge across to that right now?
No, right now I don't, because I'm just leaving the birds out there to be protected from predators. But I could absolutely build a drawbridge or something like that.
Yeah.
But certainly could.
So would you be having camping in this area for
Yeah.
that festival? Yeah.
Yeah, no, not in that area. So the way places people camp would be on, I wish I knew how to show you guys this. So it would be on the east side of the pond. It's kind of hard to see, but all those trees are cut up. There's big canopies in there and people line that. So coming down that road from R4 road, right to where you get to that first kind of turn in my pretend drawing, from there to the dam, that is all gets filled with tents and campers and
All in here.
yep. If
So
that makes sense.
Your Northeast Woods. Yep.
Yeah, my Northeast Woods. That all, yeah, right there. Perfect. That gets filled with tents, campers, all that kinds of stuff. Because it's very open. Again, you can't see it here, but those are gigantic trees. That's a big canopy.
Yep.
Everything underneath it's pretty cleared except the occasional fruit tree or this or that, you know.
Yeah. So this road that you built here, this is pretty new, hey?
Yeah, just built it.
You did. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a big floodplain. Yeah. Have
Yeah,
you
down in that bottom, I think, is 100-year floodplain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it here.
Oh, yep. Yep. So that road crosses that floodplain.
Yeah. Go back to this. Just to give you an idea
Okay.
of a 3-acre, this isn't a shape I'm married to either, but
Yeah.
this is just to show you like, okay, there's a good 3-acre chunk, right? If we were to put it all in one spot, just because you had kind of outlined that sort of
Hey,
area.
can you go back to that picture? Because I just seen something I've never told you guys that I probably should.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that one. There's actually a pond in there now. That's like I said, this is when we were digging that out. There's actually a pond, but I don't know if you can see it. So for me, it would be south of that pond. There's that big brown leg that sticks out. You see that?
This here?
Oh,
There's this is compacted. This is pond here.
I'm trying to see where you were at. I don't see where you are.
I'm here. I'll just grab a color and show you.
Oh yeah, okay. Right there's the pond. Now that's a much bigger pond now because that was when we bulldozed it out.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just south of that, you see that brown square?
Yep.
Okay, and then just south of that other open area. Okay. Right?
Here?
Yep. You're right where you're on it. Okay, so I dug that out because my wife wants a wallopini.
Okay.
And so the excavation's already done for her to put one in there. I just haven't built it yet. But I did all the dirt work and I'm trying to research. I thought about using the pond as a thermal battery for the wallopini. But I haven't figured out how all that works yet. So yep, right there.
That's what I can help you with as the engineer in the family.
Yeah. My wife found a video in Nebraska called Greenhouse in the Snow.
Yep, I've watched it many times.
So my wife seems to think that growing oranges would be fabulous. So.
Yeah.
The blossoms are just lovely. It smells so good. We've got limes and lemons right now in Canada in the greenhouses. They sell them for $88 a piece.
Whew.
And you could maybe have it inside and it might do something for you. But the blossoms smell lovely.
Yeah.
So you know how he did that one tag for the one in Nebraska? He just put large plastic pipe, 12-inch diameter. I think he mentioned about 5,000 linear feet of that below the frost line.
Yep.
You know, and that's all he needed to do. You could use the pond for the thermal battery. And the advantage of the pond is that you've got a much higher heat capacity in the water than you do in the soil.
Yep.
But you also have the risk of heating up your pond enough during the summer that you're going to bake your water out of your pond through evaporative losses.
That don't sound fun.
No. And so, you know, that's the only caution I give you. You know, the higher heat capacity is there, like 10-to-1 compared to soil.
Yep.
Which means you'd need fewer linear feet, right, to get the heat transfer that you need.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd look at where can you build, you know, just a ground-based heat transfer battery in the area immediately around your Wallapini greenhouse.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to say you may not need it if we do something else, which is put just a whole big thermal mass of water inside the Wallapini to start with, which is what I did here last winter.
Yep.
I just had 7 IBC totes in a 30-foot by 20-foot space.
Mm-hmm.
And I only put it in place in September, so I never got the full summer to heat it up.
Yep.
I hit 140 degrees inside the greenhouse in October.
Okay.
And I had a 35-degree differential between indoors and outdoors all year round.
Love it.
And so I think with that, we could probably get you to where you might not need the ground battery.
Okay. Yeah, and Graham, when you guys are designing, you guys should know I have a bulldozer, an excavator, a grader.
You can dig trenches and stuff anywhere.
Right? Yep. My own sawmill. I have all kinds of stuff like that we can deploy.
Okay. I'm just going to say you're building a Wallapini and needs heat management.
Yeah. So back to the shape here, Lindsay, the only thing that I would not want about this is the part that goes up by my house, because I really want to separate my private living space. I love my wife being comfortable to garden in her bikini. I just love that she's, I don't want her to feel weird or,
I get it. I'm totally that farmer.
I have a camera up here in my office that will zoom in on a license plate at 1.5 miles away. And I'm up on the 3rd floor of, we call it the crow's nest. So I can see my entire property. So I can watch my wife in her bikini all day. And it's a fabulous, fabulous thing.
And you're allowed to.
Yes. Yes. It's actually encouraged.
Amazing. Okay, let's get into talking about what you currently see in your land in terms of erosion and weather patterns and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. As far as erosion, really the only place that I've really seen much of it is in the creek beds. And if you walk down in there, you'd see some of those creek beds really dive off. They might be 12 feet deep ravines. They go downhill slow, and then bam, kind of right down through them. And you can, in this picture, you can kind of see the fingers of the creek beds, or I can at least. So those erode pretty good, but the rest of it really doesn't have any. And I think it's because you guys probably should know this too. So I selected this land because it's at the top of the runoff. I get 2 acres of runoff from across the street from Matt, who doesn't spray or anything like that. And then I get a tiny bit from the farmer on the other side. And so my farm also hadn't had any commercial farming on it since 1921 when I bought it. And so those are the 2 reasons we selected this one over all the rest of them. But yeah, where your blue line is, Lindsay, there's a creek bed down in there. And there's there's some significant ravines in there.
Yeah. And that follows that 1 in 100 year floodplain, right?
Yep. Yep.
How about wind?
Oh my goodness, we live in Kansas. We're home of the wind.
Yeah, it's that wind that Lindsay sends down from Canada and keeps on going until it hits West Texas, right?
There's almost every day there's a breeze, but there's a couple times a year we'll get 100-mile-an-hour straight line winds.
Yeah.
And
in front of the fronts as they come through.
Yeah, right in front of them. And typically they're coming from the south west heading northeast.
Yeah, same as what I used to get when I was in Texas, right below you.
Yep. I forgot the second question.
I didn't get there yet.
Oh, I thought you asked me 2 things, erosion and something else. I don't remember.
And wind, yep.
You had mentioned about the soil not being good in this area. Soil's really awesome in this area.
Yeah, so everything to the right of your blue line is awesome soil. Everything to the left of your blue line, not so much. Maybe that's not fair to say that, because I've never had it tested. All of it has good, beautiful black topsoil. All of it. It's just on the one side, it's 8 inches deep. On the other side, it could be several feet deep.
Yeah, and part of the process is having the soil tested and having an online consultation with Evan Foltz. It's very informative and whatnot. So
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are you going to add any more access than that road that you already put in?
Well, there'll be two ways in, and you can kind of see. I don't know if can you see those rolls of hay bales that would be here. It would be south of the orchard.
Oh, okay. This?
Yeah, there's hay bales down there on the bottom, all kind of rolled up. So we drive down towards the community building. You can see the road where it's kind of started. We drive down that whole side down to the community building. So there'll be two ways in and two ways out.
Okay.
I just haven't built that road yet. We just drive on the prairie, but.
Do you need to build any ATV access or fire access or anything like that?
Yeah, so there's actually paths all through those woods for the ATVs. My daughter is the most princessy tomboy you'll ever meet. Ever. And so we built paths all around it. So as far as that goes, fire access, they'd come, the fire department. If I have to call them, it's too late here. They're not getting to me for 30, 45 minutes probably. So we've built, like we have UTVs with water tanks in them. We have our whole own system because I've had fires to put them out, but I don't know really how to answer the question other than that. You know, we don't really call them. We just put out the fire.
Did you want some walking paths?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please. When I was at Galt Landing, when I walked, there's a lot there that inspired me, but nothing inspired me more than when I was walking through the paths of that food forest and came upon that monument.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could have sat there for 30 minutes thinking about all of that and how that made me feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you go sit in the pyramid?
I did.
I know, like lucky Jim, he just gets to go in there and have coffee every morning, right?
No, right? Yep. Yeah, I'm a very artistic person. I love to paint. I love to draw. I build furniture. I do all kinds of stuff. And the weirder, the better. You know, like most of my furniture don't have a straight edge on it. It's meant to be out of the wildness of nature, right? So I'm eclectic. But yeah, I mean, something that inspires somebody, I'm all in. You know?
So outside of the community building that we have on the map, is there any other structures to be built?
Yeah, so right now I have no plans to build any other structures. However, I know that necessity is going to require it.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to maybe put some Airbnbs in at some point, but maybe there's a smokehouse. And it kind of determines what happens with all these plans. But I'm not opposed to putting more buildings in. You know, but currently the only plan we have is to build that community building.
Where do you have the majority of your tools and your equipment?
Okay, you see that silver building all the way in my back corner?
This one here?
Yeah, top.
Northwest.
That's a 60 by 40 shop. My skid loader's in there, my tractor's in there, my welders are in there, all my tools are in there.
Okay.
That's the tag den.
And this is the main house.
Yep.
Garage. Down here.
And that little brown building right next to the main house is my wife's processing kitchen.
Okay.
That's where she processes everything. I don't know if it matters to you guys too. I was just thinking about the pond. So you know it's 21 feet deep pretty much all the way across it. And it's been there 3 years.
Pond 1.
Pond 1, yep.
So that's good. So you keep fishing it all year round because of the depth.
Yep.
Does it freeze very often?
Yeah, in the wintertime, it will freeze over the top where you can walk on it in January and February.
Okay.
And ice will be maybe a foot thick.
Yep.
God, those are so cool.
That one's too blurry to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you have in these buildings here?
Wait, say that again?
What do you have over here by the annual garden, these buildings here?
Okay, those are shipping containers. And so
okay.
the first one is my wife's garden shed, and in there's tools and her, extra beehives and just all her her stuff, rakes and hose and all of that stuff. Then the shipping container next to it is mine, and I store material in there because I have a sawmill. I keep all my wood, like every log that came out of that, where that pond was, that all got milled. That's all lumber for me to build stuff out of. So I keep my material in there.
Wow. All right. So you have enough ponds. You're not looking to add more ponds, are you?
If we need one, right? I'm not opposed to nothing,
I mean, just at the face of it, I can't think of a good reason to add one because you've got ample water, obviously, and you've got water in strategic places as well.
Yep, I'm big on water. I think water's a big issue, and you just don't ever know what the climate's going to do, and you just don't ever know. I want to hold all I can hold.
Coming from the driest continent on Earth, I applaud that.
Yeah, yeah. We spent a ton of money on the pond. I had a biologist come out and a professional fisherman come out, and when we were building the pond, and advised me on habitat for black crappie, big mouth bass for the fish that I was going to grow. So, and I know exactly where the best places to fish is, and so it's good.
It worked.
Yeah. I also, I don't know if you guys need to know this too, but I have a drawdown pipe in my pond. So 21 feet down, there's a big blue barrel with 1,000 holes in it. And inside that barrel is full of gravel. And inside that is a 8-inch PVC pipe with 1,000 holes. And inside that's a 2-inch PVC pipe with 1,000 holes. It's all filled with gravel, and it runs underneath my dam. And you can go to the back of the dam and turn the nozzle. Dude, it's coming out with force.
Yeah, it would.
So I don't know how I'd move that. And I just did it so if I ever needed to water my animals, I could put a trough down there and keep it full so they don't, So I don't know how we'd use it, but it's there.
I'm going to give you homework I don't usually give people.
Cool. I like this.
I'm going to have you draw a water map for me, and I'll send you just to mark up a GIS image of, like where all your wells are, and I'll give you notes about all of that, like the ponds, just all the water information that you can put on there, because there's probably more than we can talk about in this call for me to be starting to try to locate and draw on the map live. So figure that homework's fun, right?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. And I have lots of buried cisterns and rainwater storage. I got $10,000 of rainwater storage.
That's what I figured. I was like, I bet you the longer we talk about this, the more we're going to find out.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff to document so that we don't build you more of it if you don't need it.
Yeah, I think we're still going to have to build it because, I've built everything on my property now to service my house.
Yeah.
I didn't build it to service the community area, although I'm putting a cistern in behind the community building so we can use rainwater there, and I'll do all that stuff there. And I'm very comfortable doing it. I've been down the road a bunch. So
good.
And the community building's going to have restrooms and things like that as well.
It has you'll like this, Lindsay. So it's got a boys' restroom and a girls' restroom, and the which one was which was decided because the girls got together and said that the girls' restroom, because it was closer to the hot water, that was the girls' restroom. The boys got the restroom with the coldest water.
Well, that makes total sense, right? Like my son is sleeping with the window open when it's -20 out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you're paying for the heat bill now.
Yeah. And those bathrooms, the girls has a bathtub, the boys has a shower.
Oh, lovely. That's great.
Do you want to do anything different with composting toilets or anything else like that with the community center?
I'm open to it. My intent was to put a septic in.
Okay.
Because I've had them for years and I've never had any problems with them.
And you know how to run it, right? Yeah.
How to run them, but I'm not opposed to anything for people to be able to learn those. And maybe the idea is I build an Airbnb and put a composting toilet in it, so that experience could be there if people wanted it.
That might be the better way to do it. I'm just doing one in Florida right now, and I just did an Airbnb with solar on it, a biogas generator, and composting toilet. Very similar to what you saw for Jim, with his Airbnbs down there. So
yeah.
Biogas and everything, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited about being at a place in my homestead where I can fiddle fart around. I want to tinker. I'm never tinkering because I always have a fence to build, or I have boring stuff to build. I want to go tinker.
Yeah, it's getting around that time, right?
Yes. I'm ready to tinker.
Less effort. They say effort is a failure in design.
I call my wife the Mongolian slave lord, and she has earned that title.
Awesome. So we've already got this answered. that yes, you want some privacy between the home and the demo site. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
How about, now this might be a funny conversation with you, HOAs?
Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
No, there are none of that where I live. We don't even have to have inspections on electrical or plumbing or nothing.
That's incredible.
Oh, so you're not even in an incorporated township or anything?
No, I'm out in the middle. I'm out in the country.
Beautiful.
Yep, there's nothing there.
That is living free right there.
Yep, I had to go get a building permit to build my house. It was $200. That was the end of it.
Well, yeah, funnily enough, there are parts of Texas now where they don't, I think it's 176 counties in Texas don't even have a fire code or a building code, and they can't administer them anymore. So they've just said, you know what, you're on your own. And it's like, if the house falls down on you, it's your fault.
Right. I love that. See, that is freedom. We should have the right to choose. Now, we don't have the right to be, you know, away from the consequences of our choices.
Yeah.
We should still have the right to choose.
All right. Wildlife and pest pressure. Any evidence of that you could see?
Oh, girl, I could write a book. I could write a book.
You
got
could.
I got a video of my wife battling a possum that got into the chicken coop, and she walked in. It was eating the head of one of her chickens. You know. So we have what I've seen. So let's start right there. So we have bobcat, deer, raccoon, possum, hawks, eagles, bald eagles. We have all of those. Now that they say that we have mountain lion, but I have never seen it. So I don't know. As far as other pests go, obviously it's, you know, the bugs and the Japanese beetles and all the stuff. Now we build traps for them and feed them to our chickens and stuff like that, but we don't use any herbicides, no pesticides. My wife hand picks every tomato worm off her tomatoes every single year. Chickens love them though. It's a delicacy.
Oh yeah. And, you know, over time, I got to say this too, Tag, you know, when you put in place all the plants that Lindsay's going to bring to you in the design, over time, all of the natural insect predators are just going to show up to take care of stuff.
Good.
So I don't have tobacco hornworms anymore because, like, the predatory wasp that lays its eggs on the caterpillar is now at my place, and I haven't had any tobacco hornworms for 3 years.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, and it really changes too, right? Like year after year, it's really interesting to just watch like how what we call pests. I don't like calling them pests, but like how it morphs. And then all of a sudden there's this species there and abundant, and then they're not there at all the next year. It's just really
it does change. I've been here 10 years now, and you know, every year I see something different. Praying mantises showed up, dragonflies showed up, and I'm like, you know, then I don't have squash bugs anymore. And it's like, hello.
Yeah.
Let nature take care of itself, right?
Yeah, I've never seen fireflies except for the garden that we planted.
Love it.
Alberta. I was just like, what? Fireflies? Okay.
Yeah.
Lindsay, I would say, do yourself a favor and come here during the summer this year, and you'll see gazillions of fireflies.
I love them.
I've never figured out how to film it yet because I don't have a good enough exposure to capture the light because it's so dim, but it's like stars, you know, in the fields.
Dreamy.
My wife, my daughter breaks them in half and rubs them on her skin.
Oh, for the phosphorescence, so she can walk around and glow in the dark.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, when I said my wife, my daughter is the biggest princess tomboy. She has absolute. I have found toads in her pocket that she loved to death. Death.
That's so great.
Oh. Hey, I mentioned one plant to you guys. We have a noxious weed here called Cerezo lespedeza. Okay, it's significant, and it is almost impossible to get rid of. We fight it every year. The state brought it in back in the 40s because they wanted to deal with erosion, and it was high in protein, and it is, and you can feed it to animals. But now it's a noxious weed, and they want to fine you for it. Now, so you guys know, they've tried to fine me, and I told them I will sue them, and they leave me alone. But just FYI, that's a significant plant around here that it spreads. I mean, it is so hard to keep controlled.
So it's your annual lespedeza?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's actually a legume.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's part of the bean family.
Yep. One of our goals was always to buy a pellet machine and grind all of our cereals lespedeza up because it's 19% protein, which is
Yeah. It would be
great for a chicken,
Yeah.
Could we make our own pellets? Maybe we do that. Maybe we put a little building somewhere that allows us to make our own animal food.
Yeah. I'm the guy that comes up with all kinds of like funky, like organic formulas where you could burn it to the ground, and eventually get rid of its like root, storage capability so it doesn't grow back.
But it won't work. I'm telling you, we have burned it, cut it, mowed it, grazed it, everything out there except poisoning it. Problem is it's everywhere and it travels through the air. So my neighbor, I just have never been able, and it's just prolific.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I've never seen a plant like it.
Problem is the solution. We'll work it out.
Yeah. Well, I just thought I'd mention it to you guys because that's a pest, I guess, kind of,
Yeah. No, it'll tell us something.
Turn it into a resource, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think I'll probably do the same and give you homework for the location of your underground anything or over your power, all of that sort of thing. Utility
systems. Yep.
Services.
Yeah. I know where they all are. And in that whole area that we're looking at. So my water, my power, and there's actually a fiber optic line too, but they all run right around that main road.
Okay.
There's nothing down in where we're talking about with the community building and all that. There's nothing down there.
Okay. How about composting?
Oh my goodness. This is a huge story. So I'm not a great composter. I'd love to learn to be better at composting, but I have 2 organic beef farms that aren't very far from me that I'm very good friends with. And every year for the last 2 years, each year I've bought 250 tons of aged manure from them. So one was 7 years old and one was 10 years old. And you can actually see the piles just south of my garden in this picture you have displayed. That's what that is. That's 10-year-old cow manure piles.
Holy, this big chunk right here on the corner?
Just south of the 2 gardens. That big dark spot right there. That is all 10-year-old cow manure.
Wow.
A whole pile. Then you guys should also know, I know the local tree trimming company is real good. And last year we probably got, 250 dump truck loads of mulch dumped off. And so I have access to all of that as well. Yeah, that circle right there, that is 10-year-old cow manure. It ain't that big anymore because I built my wife a bunch of swells. So.
I just put that in the chat, that particular plant. So
that's it right there. Yeah.
Oh, I was close with my spelling. Not quite.
Yeah.
Are you interested in like vermicompost and getting worm farm going?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it, right? I can tell you that in my gardens, when we got there, we don't have good soil up at the top of the hill there, and it was just clay and a little bit of topsoil. And that's what all that manure was for. Is I came in and just filled that garden, and now here we are 3 years later, and if you pull, it's all mulch. So all the walkways are wood chips, and then there's hay that comes off my farm that's on the mounds themselves in the garden. But if you pull up those wood chips, there's worms all over the place.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's what they do. They show up when you create the environment.
A lot of our success has been because of blind squirrel finds nut.
Well, you found more than many.
Can you tell me about, so you're completely off grid already?
100%.
Can you tell me all about that?
Yeah. So I have a 38 kilowatt hour from a battery perspective solar system. I've got 28 panels, 21,000 watts of inverters. That solar system powers my house, Bethany's processing kitchen, and my shop. I built it myself. It's all Schneider brand, which is top of the line, equipment. And that's our only power source, with the exception of I have a backup propane generator if I ever need it. We chose propane because out here, it stores forever. I can buy the stuff super easy. I can do it all myself, blah, blah, blah. So that's what power comes from. So our water, we have 3 sources of water. My wife can actually wash clothes with rainwater in one side of the house and then shower with well water in the other simultaneously. And because of the way I brought all the systems in. So we have a 100-foot deep well, which is ironically right up there by those two gardens, and it's pumped 660 feet from there to my house. I have 10,000 gallons of rainwater storage in multiple storage places. So I have 2 underground cisterns because we have cold winters. And then I have 2 above ground tanks. And so the above ground tanks are catching the rainwater. We're using it during the summer, but I drain them in the wintertime, and we go down to the 2 cisterns that are down there. I also have my 2.5 acre pond, which is plumbed from the bottom of the dam all the way up into my house. Although I've never used it, it's there for case I ever want to use it. As far as the filtration goes, so what we do is whether it's they all have their own systems. So, but they come in, they go through a sediment filter, they go through a pump and a pressure tank, then they go through a series of 4 or 5 cloth filters, then a UV filter, and then they enter my house. Our drinking water, we run through a Berkey before we drink it. Everything else is just those other systems. Our sewer is a septic system, which is put in right back behind my house, which would be on the east side, right behind my house. I'm actually a certified septic installer, even though I've never installed a septic system because the test was really that easy. And so that's that. What else? What other utilities do we have? I guess I still am on the grid from the perspective of I have internet. Have a cell phone, but our needs are met on my farm. I have no mortgage, no car payments, no electric bill, no water bill, no sewer bill. We do all that ourselves.
I've had that once before in my life in Western Australia.
It's neat.
It is. It's fun. You get to learn how to be responsible for managing your own power needs, and
Yep. A lot of people don't know that. The art to being a good homesteader is being a good manager.
Yeah.
Absolutely is. That's why I always talk about energy capital.
Yeah.
If everything takes an hour, I'll never get to any of it.
Yep.
Just the way it works. We go through red days, yellow days, and green days here at my house, depending upon the weather and the forecast and what's going on. And our activities are dictated by that. And we chase the sun everywhere we go. And that's the way it works,
That's exactly how I used to do it. We just had 3 solar panels and a small 600-watt wind turbine, and we had a family of 5 people, and we managed.
Yeah, you manage it. And Graham and Lindsay, you probably know this about me, but I also own a solar company. So I have access to everything. Batteries.
I did not know that, though. Okay.
Okay, I own the company Grid Down. If you get online, www.griddown.com, that's me. I'm not super active with it. I just basically manage the books, but. So the community building is going to get its own whole solar system.
Okay. Have you ever thought about incorporating wind?
Yes, I have actually many, many times. I've just never gotten to it. I don't understand it, but in fairness, I didn't understand solar either. It's just a matter of getting to it. But I'd love to incorporate wind. Would love to.
It's actually very simple to combine with solar.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally put up the tower, you run the wire straight into the battery bank, and it charges, and then your inverter and all the rest of it is going to manage it just the same way.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not opposed to any of that. Lindsay, did I answer your question as far as the off-grid stuff? I think I covered it all, right? Okay,
That's cool. The biggest answer I've ever received for that session.
By far. I've seen the others.
Yeah. Now I'm on to hours of operation or gate. Do you want this to be a public demonstration site? How are you going to run that?
Yeah. So,
I should say.
Yeah. I mean, I think anybody that wants to learn about it, I'm open to it. I'll put powered automatic keypad gates anywhere for people to come in anyway. So I'll be able to issue a code or just leave it open, but there will be, girl, I'm telling you, there will be so many people. I mean, there always is anyway. Almost every weekend we have someone down here staying with us who's trying to figure out how to live free. Because we have 80% of the equation. I just don't have the rest of it, which is why we're talking. Right?
Gotcha. So you'd be interested in having like the tiny homes and maybe having somebody operating tours, maybe not necessarily you?
I would love this, especially if it's not me.
Yeah.
Yep, especially. Me and my wife have talked several times about bringing in and, someone who wanted to live off the farm. I just am so nervous about what you get.
Yeah.
This is my paradise. This is.
Yeah, it's your castle and your paradise. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had similar needs expressed to us, not just by folks who operate Freedom Farm Academies, but folks that have homesteads and maybe they're gone for 5 or 6 months of the year to go someplace else like Florida because they can, they're financially independent and they need a caretaker to look after their property while they're gone and keep everything running. So we have some leads on that because I've had a few people that have expressed the same desire, and within our team members we've got some folks that might be those people. So
but I'm telling you, I would build a tiny home, I would equip it, and I would bring somebody in to live on my farm full time if I could trust them. And if I didn't, because the guys, and I know this is probably way too much information for y'all, but there's something cool about my wife being able to run out of the house at 2 o'clock in the morning with a pitchfork in her underwear because there's something attacking a chicken.
It's because she can, right?
There's something cool about that because she can.
Oh yeah, I get you. Okay. I had something else on that. Oh yeah, website stuff being listed on our website.
Yeah,
and
perfect.
having touring bookings. That's all.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Do you want to have? Sorry, go
I
ahead.
have a vested interest in Food Forest Abundance working.
Yes. Would you like a retail or shop or something like that as well? Farm stand?
Yeah, so I'm going to highlight the grid down systems in there anyway. So the idea of the community building would be a big display place. I'm working with a plumbing company out of California right now to try to build a turnkey off-grid water system. Literally a plug and play. You plug the rainwater in one side, you plug your house in on the other, everything works. And so I'd like to be able to demonstrate those kind of things that I understand. So certainly my wife's a pretty big seed grower. She grows them for the Buffalo Seed Company, and I know that may be something she would be interested in, longer term. So I'm open, but I'm not married to any of it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is there any services, or you just basically answered this, but I'll ask you again, any elements of the design that you could think of that you would really want emphasized? Freedom.
Yeah. I want it to scream. And I'm not talking about the red, white, and blue American kind of freedom. That's not what I'm talking about.
American.
Yeah. I mean, I love America. I was a soldier. I'm proud to have been an American, but America's full of corrupt politicians. That's all it is today. But, but to be able to, that's why Jim's monument moved me so much. I mean, I sat there and that made a lot of sense to me and it spoke to me. And so I love the artistic twist. I love the idea of those things and be creative. I mean, I'm very eclectic. I can get down with any kind of music. We can talk either side of the political spectrum, and I could probably make an articulate, argument on either side. So yeah, artsy, creative, beautiful. My house, if you guys walked in my house, there's something to look at everywhere you go. My bedroom has a tree in it. I'm talking about a tree this big around.
Because you can.
Go through the floor. I mean, everywhere you go in my house, there's that.
Sounds incredible.
Why be bored? Right?
I don't know what that is. I don't really have that opportunity. People say they're bored. I'm like, you're bored? How can you be bored?
No, I know.
All right. Any final thoughts? Look at that. We're making our time.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. Let me see. I had a couple notes. Make sure I told you guys everything. A fire pit would be a big thing. We spend a lot of time around a fire ring, right? The community does. Sitting down talking. I told you about the festival. Let me see here. Wallapini. Yeah, I told you guys I have equipment. So anything that would require big earth moving, I can do all of those kinds of things. And I know it says it on that map, but we're going to put a stage down in the water, half in, kind of half out of the thing, because I get lots and lots of speakers who come in and teach this or do that. And so I want to make sure I accommodate that. One other thing. So at the community building, which I don't know if I can share my screen. I might be able to. I might want to show you guys something real quick.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to move you guys on a different screen here real quick. Let me find it. Food Forest, documents, invoice. Oh, right there. I think it's 2. Okay. All right, moving you back. I got it. Okay, so right now what we're playing with. Windows, there we go. Okay, so this is my current plan for the community building that we're working on right now. And what I want you guys to know is I have plumbed right between those two. I haven't drawn any windows in yet because I haven't got them yet. But right between those 2 doors, underneath the concrete, I have stubbed out plumbing, water, and hot and cold water. Okay. So we will run those lines to wherever we put the outdoor kitchen. I have it already plumbed out. I just got to run them. I just don't know where they're going.
Yep.
But so the energy, the solar system, the water systems, all that from the community building can feed anything we want it to feed, anywhere we want it to feed it around those areas, right? I have the ability to take it there because I already, like I said, I already stubbed it out. I've also stubbed out big electrical power so that it can go again to the stage to run music equipment or, you know, whatever it is.
Big power.
Big power. Yeah.
Right on.
So you're basically telling us we've got all utilities available in the community center to go to anywhere around it.
Anywhere you want to go. Yep. I have trenchers. It's just a matter of moving it. Now, water, obviously, I'm subject to gravity.
Correct.
That's the only rule we have to live by, right?
Well, okay, can we change that rule?
If you can, man, rock on.
Solar powered pumps are a specialty.
Carrier pigeons.
No. I'm just gonna show you guys a couple pictures so you can see it. So this is actually my land. So you're looking from my back deck down across the dam of the back of the pond.
Okay. Yep.
So that's what my land looks like. It's all treed. Let me see here if I've got some more pictures in here. There's the gardens. Those are the gardens my wife grows. Now we just grow, and again, this is where we want to take that next step. We grow. How do I say this? We're responsible farmers, right? Because we don't use any inputs other than what comes from the farm. But these are all tomatoes and potatoes and peppers, and you know, she grows, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. But these are the actual gardens we grow in each year. Let's see, is there any more pictures in here? Oh yeah, there's another picture of the gardens. This must have been pretty early in the year.
Here.
What?
Jeff and Louise are here.
Okay, just go tell them I'll be down in a minute, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much, Pumpkin. Let me see. Yeah, so you guys can see my house, her processing kitchen, my solar panels, that's the chicken coop. Like a lot of this isn't here anymore. This was a good year and a half ago as we were building. But see all those cars there?
Yep.
Those are community people helping that day when they happened to take this picture.
Yep.
Right? So this is looking up from the pond when we were building it. You can still see
digging it. Yep.
when the bulldozer was still there, right? That's my house before her processing kitchen. That's pretty cool.
I love the Lindsay greenhouse on the front.
Yeah, that's my wife's greenhouse. So it just sits on the south side, and she just has all her starts in it.
Yep.
Where they go in the garden. That's all it's really used for. But it has its own water system.
Uh-huh.
It's got a 750-gallon tank that I plumbed all to the greenhouse, so she can turn on drip lines. She can whatever she wants.
If I share with you a file folder on Google Drive, would you mind dropping some of those photos in? Because it would help
happy to.
And myself. So yeah, I'll send you a link for that. And
how about I drop you some aerial footage of actually flying around my property?
Even wonderfuler.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, no, and that'll be the folder as well that we'll use to share stuff back with you as well. You know, the design documents, etc. So.
Yep, happy to.
Excellent.
Well, this is really exciting.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm excited. I don't even know what it means yet, but we'll get there.
Lindsay and I are going to have fun because we've never collaborated on a design together before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a rare opportunity for the head of design to actually work in design, which is
no doubt.
Something that we thought would be like a novel thing to do.
Like, I'm designing.
Yeah, so we've split this up between us. You know, so Lindsay's got the design responsibility, and I'm taking care of your plant lists and narrative document. And because we're both experienced designers and former design team leaders, we're going to review each other's work, you know, to do quality control. You know, not that I expect that either of us should have any problems, but we'll figure them out.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm exciting, and the sky's the limit. It's a blank canvas. There's no restrictions. I'm talking about on this process, right? I mean, I'm dream big. That's what I'm going to do. You know?
Good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, well, I'll send all my wrap-up email probably tomorrow, to be
Okay.
honest with you.
All
with
good.
all the things, and we'll get that drive link to you and everything, and I'll explain our next steps in there.
Yep. Cool. I'm in. Just tell me what to
You-
do.
Right
Excellent.
on.
I'm a
Thank you
great
so much, Tag.
laborer.
Yeah.
Yeah, great connecting with you, Rowdy. I'm looking
All
forward
right.
to it.
We'll see you guys. Thank you very, very much. Hold the line.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I just got to stop the recording if I could find the button. Boom.